Hey, so it's been a while. Let's talk about dynamics. So I've noticed in the comment section that when it comes to motorcycle dynamics and the geometry tools that I share on this channel, the number one topic that people seem to be interested in are rear suspension and linkage analysis. Now, it's not something I've really covered on this channel, so I think now is going to be the perfect time. So this is the linkage of a Triumph Street Triple. It is a dog bone or bell crank type linkage. The thing that separates this from a directly mounted suspension is the fact that the RSU mounts first to this linkage system. Here we can see the bell crank is the triangular piece, which is mounted to the bottom of the swing arm. We have two additional mounts on this linkage, one for the RSU and one for the dog bone. The dog bone typically extends to the frame, especially in this configuration. The RSU extends up and is secured in a higher location on the frame. So how exactly does this linkage system work? Well, if we imagine there's no RSU for a moment, there's nothing then holding the frame away from the swing arm and the whole thing will collapse. If we do it the other way and we remove the dog bone, again, there's nothing preventing the motorcycle from collapsing in on itself. So by having these two mounted to this linkage, they're fighting against each other and actually keeping the bike upright. The geometry of all of these components are actually defining the arcs at which the linkage is going to be rotating through, which directly affects the amount of compression we're going to have in the spring related to the amount of travel we have at the wheel. This is what we call the leverage ratio. Now, all the different manufacturers, they tend to have like some special branding, some kind of name for their linkage, like Honda's ProLink, for example. So it does make things a bit confusing. Tuning this geometry is one of the most effective ways to adjust the handling of the motorcycle, and having a reliable analysis tool takes away all the guesswork. So some of you will know that I've been working on an application. I've decided to remove all project creep, limiting it to just the rear suspension analysis. I've got a working prototype and I'll hopefully have an update on a release for you soon. So this is the rear suspension geometry plotted on a graph in Excel. The green line represents the frame. That's the RSU upper mount, the swing arm pivot, and the mount for the dog arm from the linkage. The black triangle is the swing arm, the orange triangle is our linkage or rocker, and the red line represents the RSU. So as I said, the position of each of these components pivots as well as the length of those components is very important for defining the characteristic of this linkage system. Now, by drawing circles over the pivot locations, we can see the arc in which the linkage is going to sweep through. What we can also see is that the RSU is the only variable in the system, of course, and that is going to be shortening as the rear wheel moves up. You can probably also imagine then, if you were to extend the dog bone, you'll be pulling the RSU lower mount down, and that's going to be lowering your ride height. This is how the lowering kit works. So when adjusting the rear suspension, when you want to make small adjustments, it's much easier to do that when it's a linear change, so the dog bone or the RSU. The effect of the change is just much more predictable if you do it this way. Now, since the linkage is connected to three different components, it's actually quite tricky to really understand how the changes you've made to that linkage is affecting the suspension system. And that's where this kind of visualization really helps. Okay, so when we want to analyze the suspension system, the first thing I'm going to be looking at is the RSU compression over the wheel travel. And that's going to look something like this. This is the first thing we calculate. This graph itself doesn't really tell us that much, but we can still identify a few things. For example, the maximum wheel travel in this case is 130 millimeters. The compression of the spring is up to about 48 millimeters. And if we look at this line, we can see that it's slightly curved upwards, which already tells me that this is likely a progressive linkage system. So the useful information that we can get from this data is actually the leverage ratio, which is a ratio of the RSU travel versus the wheel travel. The inverse of that would be the motion ratio, which I'll mention again in just a moment. So we can take the RSU travel and the RSU travel at each point, and we can calculate the leverage ratio, and we can plot that as well on a graph. And in this case, it looks something like this. We start off with a leverage ratio of around 3, and it will decrease to around 2.4 in this case. Now in this case, with the leverage ratio decreasing, it actually means we have a progressive linkage. If we were to be looking at the motion ratio instead of leverage ratio, then we'd see this curve on the incline as opposed to decline. We're looking at leverage ratio, that's why. So there are two other things that we can calculate from this information at this point. The first being the average leverage ratio, which is based on the maximum compression versus the maximum wheel travel. And if we divide those, we'll get the leverage ratio of 2.48. This is our average leverage ratio. Now the other thing we can calculate is the progression, which is telling us how much stiffer the system is going to get as the RSU compresses. We can see here in this system that it's increasing by roughly 20%. So with the leverage ratio, let's now introduce a spring. Let's say that spring has a stiffness of 100 newtons per millimeter. Now we can then start to consider the stiffness or the effective stiffness or the spring rate at the rear wheel. Now this is not going to be a simple multiplication or division. So when we derive this equation, we're going to have a couple of parts, which is going to introduce two instances of leverage ratio. So when we calculate the real rate, we actually have to divide the spring rate by leverage ratio squared. And that's going to give us our wheel rate. And then of course we can look at the shock force. This is going to be the amount of force that's in the spring as we compress it. So that's a direct result of the spring stiffness and the wheel travel. And then when we want to look at the amount of force required to lift the rear wheel, we can just consider the leverage ratio related to the shock force. Then we can start plotting multiple data sets onto these charts to try and draw a clearer picture. We'd also want to compare the output or the results of different linkage calculations, and that's something that I will plan to work into the application. So if you're into suspension or linkage analysis, and there is something in particular that you'd like to see in an application, then do feel free to leave a comment in the section down below, and I'll take note, and I'll try my best to work that into the application. So anyway, that's everything for now. I'm probably going to make another video on this subject, probably using 2D graphics or 3D CAD. But for now, I'm going to start working on that application. So I just want to say thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.